Once again, it's the Uneducated Educator back with another episode of Tuned In, where we talk about everything under the sun so each one can teach one. And y'all know the rules. Tunes before gossip.
Get ready, get set to get your fix. You're listening to the sounds of Trinidad and Tobago with DJ Nasty Nige. Look how they, 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 look how they jump. All them got them whining. I ride the behind it. Yeah, all them got them walking. I ride the behind. Callaway spread out and put it on me. Callaway spread out and put it on me. Callaway bounce it, bounce it, bounce it, bounce it, bounce it right on to the beat. Callaway spread out and put it on me. Callaway spread out and put it on me. Callaway start from 6:25 and I go where you stop till 6:30. Back canal, tell them bumpers pop up in the air, so natural. Bubbling like we having an affair on the road, the road, the road, the road. I say they call them no one no behavior, so just look how they, look how they, look how they, look how they jump. Chip and roll, all them got them whining. I ride them behind it. Chip and roll, chip and roll, chip and roll. From outer space and music, we come from those planets up of the years.
After saving with customized car insurance from Liberty Mutual, I customize everything. Like Marco's backpack.
Try Zaxby's chicken finger plate with tongue torch, Zax sauce, or any of our sauces.
She causing a scene outdoors, everybody watching we, all the
In-laws, yes.
problems. Why you don't leaving?
I ain't leaving.
If this thing is love, then I
I really don't need it.
I
Yes.
just want to join the line, drink a rum in paradise, have a good time
With my friends.
Leave me, let me
Live my life.
I want to hold on to girl and jam
I love
up
you,
in my
Papa.
I just want to have some fun, but this girl is turned down. She and with this is out of the road.
Yo, this song hit hard back in the day, boy.
Watch out, she this is out of the road.
Ha, ha.
All we this is out of the road. Oh, 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 oh. Hey, 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 hey. Oh, oh, this girl is for real. Oh no, she wait till we on the street to explode. Why you causing problems? Girl, it's not easy. Everybody watching, too hot for TV. I just want to join the line, drink a rum in paradise, have a good time with my friends. Leave me, let me live my life. I want to hold on to girl and jam up the mama. I just want to have some fun, but this girl is turned on. She and with this is out of the room. All with this is out of the room. Watch out, she this is out of the room.
Nasty Nine, Nasty Nine, Nasty Nine.
Girl, what's your purpose? Come in this fat and whining alone. And you anxious to go with someone and get in a zone. I this is doing one special. If you know I'm a mister, I will be your rental. I will jam on you all night. We go all out like we expect in a hurricane. Girl, it's not the to play. And this is what she said. Going on me now. Yeah, going on me there. Right there, going on me now. Go, just stay right there, right there. Going on me now. Yeah, going on me there. Right there, going on me now. Go. Wine on me now, wine on me there, wine on me now, just stay right there, right there. Wine on me now, wine on me there, wine on me now, just stay right there, right there. Wine on me now, wine on me there, wine on me now, just stay right she got me done. If you see bottom, the bumper bounce like pop, she got me done. If you see bumper rolling like thunder, it's that real. I think that's fake, girl. I just wanna know, I just wanna know. I don't really wanna be disrespectful. I just wanna know, I just wanna know. Girl, if you went up for election, I woulda make you a leader. You might have out, come look, girl. But me love your bad girl behavior. This girl don't play, no, no, this girl don't play. This girl don't play, no, no, this girl don't play. And she can't, she ain't know. If it's the only girl before, she bad. But when I move it, she's there. I think I'm right in a touch.
Yes.
I think I'm right in a touch. I put my hand on the side, but I'm right there. I think I'm right in a touch. Come take away in a touch. I think I'm right in a touch.
Static. I love how you move your body. Come, shorty, walk it for me.
understanding nothing to say, cause your lips them look so good like 20 cherry. And if I you drop it for me, oh la la mama fit to pity. So you want the road yesterday, the rhythm no waste up like 2 lele. Cause I must get that taste of the waste mama before I. Just give me where you never get nobody to be shy. I know all of them who watching they go far. But when they talk, we go tell them, I don't know about you. But when I don't get the body and a woman and the chanting, she dancing to Afro soca. I don't know about you. But when I'm on the road and I'm in the boat, you know I'm not sober. She grip me like I'm a lover, got me chanting. She got me here begging for more. Bumpers off like Bata Coco. I ride and I walk up for so she friends and them all in they want to cheat. I ride her just like a moto. Rev it up, then I ready to go. I love how she roll and she flow got a bumper. It goes in like Pink Moscato. I must get that taste of the waste mama before I. Just give me where you never get nobody to be shy. I know all of them who watching they go talk. But when they talk, we go tell them, I don't know about you. But when I don't get the body and a woman and the chanting, she dancing to Afro soca. I don't know about oh, I need it. Oh, I think I need it. Don't know if it's me or it's you. Don't know if you're telling me truth. Something tell me stop and
Oh man, I'm starting soon. Hello, how you doing, Janice? Ah, you want to know the secret? Yeah.
Give me the time, gotta push it back. I'm holding on, and I can't let go, and I can't let go. I'm feeling like you touch
I got you.
and I can't let go, and I can't let go. Everything you touch is gold, and I need it. Oh, yes, I need it. Oh, I think I need it.
I'm doing well.
I need it. Oh, yes, I need it. Oh, I think I need it.
I'm doing well. Definitely thank you for tuning in. I like to play a little music, get people in the mood of moving their hips, loosening up their minds.
It's time to get up and start moving. Leave it now, your problems behind it. We're pressing on to our victory.
What you call a boutique hotel. I'm looking.
All right. Well, you know, as the comments say, thank you very much. I try a little bit to get people grooving before, so you know they can relax, enjoy content, get in the mood to be sharing with us their feelings as well. And of course, as y'all see, tonight's topic is, oh, we got a secret to tell. Well, I'm not going to tell the secret just yet. But I also want y'all to understand, please, you have to like, share, subscribe if y'all want to see us do bigger things. We need those subscriptions. We need those likes. And like I tell the people that I meet personally that I ask to subscribe to my channel, if you don't like the people, you ain't got to share our videos. We don't want those type of people over here in this atmosphere. We want people that's blessed and would like to see a little bit of change in this world, something good for the people, not nothing negative. You know, constructive criticism is always welcome. That is one of the things that we definitely have no problem with, is people criticizing in a constructive way so that we can do better for you guys. This is all about allowing the people to teach each other what's going on. So with that, hey Ashley, what's going on?
Hey, nothing. What's
I
up
see
with
the new
you?
dude.
Yes, I'll be
I was
busy.
just
around
I
here
was
doing my
just telling,
hair.
Janice that we're definitely happy that she tuned in.
Yes, we
So what's
are.
hmm so as the topic says, oh, we got a secret to tell. Well, actually, I'm gonna tell it like this. People
Okay.
can understand. It's okay for your children not to be your friend.
Mm.
That's our secret tonight. We will be talking about that. Yes, it is okay. I mean, I'm gonna be very honest with you. My mother never treated me like I was her friend. Her
Right.
child, yes. Her friend, no. And it gave me a lot of structure. It also made me understand that I need to respect adults in any situation. Even when adults are wrong, there's a way to handle it so that you don't get in trouble. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
These kids nowadays don't have respect for no one. And one of the people they don't have respect for is their parents. Why I say that is because when you leave out the house, what you do in the street is a representation of your household. And your parent is the one that has that household. There's
Okay.
exceptions to the rule, but we'll get into that a little later. So, how do you feel about seeing that you have a buddy over there? My buddy over there, Jamel. That's my buddy, boy. I love that man.
So I
Yeah,
agree.
your friend.
I know that we didn't grow up. You know, our childhood was nothing like that. It was, I'm not gonna say it was like children should be seen and not heard, but it was a lot different. And our friends were us. We were each other's friends. We were
Mhm.
not friends with no adult, not just the ones that was raising us. And yeah, I feel like it gave some structure. I feel like that's important. You know, I try to make sure that he knows that he can talk to me about anything because that's like I'm your friend in that. I'm his friend in that manner. He can come to me, he can confide in me. I'm here to protect, you know, like he know that. But he's like, but we're not friends for real. Like you're not about to be calling me whatever you're gonna call your little homeboys, and you're not about to be talking to me like I'm somebody in the street. You know, like it's just I still make him well, I don't make him, but I still encourage him to call people auntie or Mr. or Mrs. depending on how old they are. Like I want there to be a level of disconnect between him and a grown up. One for his safety because not all grown ups are safe people. And two, so he can have that respect. So he know, okay, I'm calling such and such by their first name, but I'm calling you Mister. You know, like there's some distance between us. I need to watch, like to create that pause between before he starts speaking to them, so he know, oh, if I'm cursing, I don't curse in front of Mrs. Such and such. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that went out the window.
Of course, it went out the window. I mean, these people are very young having children.
Right.
So, children having children, again, the beginning of the same problem. But I mean, like, why would I want to see your child in Walmart disrespecting you because you won't purchase something you can't afford? Even if you can't afford it, you told them no. It should be no. This type of behavior, I mean, other than children with like autism who would
Right.
not be able to control
Un-
themselves,
exactly.
any other children outside of that should be trying to uphold a standard of being respectful to their parents so that they can make their parents look good. Isn't it what all about? Doing good in life so that you can show the world how good parents you had. I mean, I think that's pretty good for me. The motivation has to be there though. What can we do to motivate the people to understand that they should go back to these things?
I feel like it's a certain level of honesty you need to have with your kids too. Like I guess with both parents working or, you know, parents having to work more, it seems like people are replacing those values with things. But if you don't got it, you don't got it. And either you need to make sure your children understand that, which I know that sometimes that's hard because you're taught to shield your kids from all these things. But like I work with Jamal on a budget. I'm like, look, this is how much money I'm spending on you. I don't. He don't have to know what I really got, but I'd be like, this is how much money I'm spending on you right now. this is what we're getting. You know, I just got paid. I'm gonna give you some money. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing with it. You can use it to buy a game. You can use it to go to the store. When we get to the store, I'm in the store like, okay, you already spent $20. You have 10 left or whatever. You know, like he understands that. Then we go somewhere else. You see something for $30. I'm like, well, if you put that back, well, if you get that, you got to put these two things back. Like, it's okay to teach your kids those things. It's not. I feel like people are more shamed when they can't afford it, so they get frustrated, and financial stress is already heavy. Then you got a child screaming. You know, like I just feel like being burdened by what other stressors creates a disconnect in parents passing the lesson on to their kids, and then children who already don't understand start wilding out, and parents don't handle it the way that they should because no lesson comes out of it. Now it's a screaming match. Now it's I said no. You know, like it just comes off a little bit different.
My thing is people that who don't have children, right? On the outside looking in, they're like, wow, why would they allow their child to act like that? Don't they understand that the representation of who they are as a parent is shown through their children? Like,
Right.
I don't want to embarrass my mom in public. I don't want to be embarrassed in public. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And there's moments and levels to it, right? Because the children understand certain things at certain ages. So there's a little bit of excuses in certain things. But if you practice what you preach, then you'll be, they wouldn't do that to you out in the
Exactly.
street. But I'm talking about there's a lot of ratchet situations too with parents being their child's friend. They had these, I can't even think of these twins. They got some twins that's out here on YouTube, but they're in them arms sitting there drinking together. I don't know how many people participated in
Like, was it
drinking with
underage
parents.
drinking?
I mean, would you drink with your mother?
Well, me and my mother not that cool, but I drink with my dad.
I mean, now as an adult, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's why I
talking about.
asked if it was underage
Well, I mean, when
or
is it a
closer
good
to
age that you should?
21. You know, like what age were they? That's what I was wondering.
I gotta figure out what age those twins was, man. But it don't matter. Like their mom was condoning some of the things that they were doing. Is why I pointed to that example.
But if they're
Certain,
drinking at legal age, that I don't know. They already 21. That's okay. If they was 15, then maybe not so much. Like I
mhm.
also believe in being that house, the house where all the friends feel safe coming over and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm not going to be doing that in my house. Again, we're not friends. I'm drinking and smoking. I'm not going to be drinking and smoking. If I was doing that, I'm not going to be drinking and smoking with my child and they friends.
Okay.
Like, why are we partying together
So
at this age?
when does that become your father or your parents? When
You
when
said
is
when did that
when
become
is it
what? I'm
decent
sorry.
to do that?
You said what?
I said age. When it Oh wow, we just going through. I said when is it a decent age where you can sit around and drink and smoke with your parents? When?
I don't know. I feel like as a mother, I probably wouldn't do it until my son was like 30 or something. Like I need him to go experience life a little bit first, be a little bit mature, because I was doing some embarrassing stuff in my 20s, so I don't want to be with my child doing that stuff. But at the same time,
That's
like,
what I'm
okay,
saying.
I understand that, but I don't feel like it's as much of a problem as when they're grown-ups as when they're younger. Like, I'm not going to be sitting around with my 12-year-old if I had a daughter. We're not going to be sitting around uh watching TikTok together. Like, we're not going to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be doing stuff that I would do with my homegirls with my child. We might go shopping together for her. I don't necessarily think,
Mhm.
I don't know, I might shop for me, but it's just, I don't know, it's just like a really thin line, and it's hard
Mhm.
because certain things you do need to do together. Like, okay, maybe we do need to go shopping together because she needs to see how to pick and stuff like that. but we're not gonna be buying matching stuff. Like you with y'all, you don't wear what I'm wearing. I can't stand seeing
Hey, Miss,
children.
hi, Miss Jones. Corey brings laughter and Naja sings out. How y'all doing tonight? We want to know. We want to know exactly what's going on, and when is an appropriate time that you should hang out with your children,
Exactly.
drinking,
Appropriate
smoking,
age.
appropriate age. All right, that it's okay for you to drink and smoke with your children and act ratchet. When is
Right.
there time for that?
Like
I've
you
seen
supposed to.
videos of people fighting with in the street with their children. I
Yeah,
mean,
I've seen that too. It's sad. It's sad. You supposed to be as the adult. You supposed to be out there stopping it, not jumping in.
I think as a parent, you should be your spare time should be doing something with your children. Avoid them even being outside in the street.
Exactly.
You know, and to be able to get in any type of altercation as
When
such.
they're 50. That's a good answer.
I mean, who's 50? When the children is 50?
Yeah, not
I
the
mean,
parent.
the parent is 50. Lord Jesus, you
I
think
just
that
feel like
at 50 parents still sit and still be drinking?
right. I feel like when you do that with your kids, right? I agree with Miss Jonesy. When they grown, like when you start doing that stuff when they children, you really steal their innocence, and people don't take that into consideration. Let those kids be kids. They don't need to know about fighting. They don't need to know about boyfriends or girlfriend or relationships. They don't need to know, like they don't need to know about gossip. You know, they don't need to know the parents' weight of the world either. Because I see so many parents like literally got their kids going through it with them. When I come home and I have a bad day, if Jamel could tell that something's wrong with me, then I try to tell it to him in the simplest way possible. Mommy's upset because she had a bad day at work, or mommy is upset because she got stuck in traffic. You know, something that is not
Mhm.
gonna take the weight off of me and put it on him. I'm not. I'm not. He don't need to be more worried about the fact that he didn't get a new toy today. Like that needs to be his biggest stress. I'm sorry, I don't understand that.
That should be their biggest stress. I think that some of the education system should be a little bit more paid, because this is some of the places where they can grab some of the life skills that their parents can't show them because they
Exactly.
at work, and nobody really think. I don't know why people think I'm crazy when I say this, but I think they should invest as much money in the education system as they do in our athletes. I
I
just feel
agree.
like
I agree. That makes
that.
no
I
sense
think
to me.
they waste more money promoting unhealthy and uneducated educational things versus education. And I don't
Mhm.
understand why, because some of the decisions that these children have to make at times can be deadly,
Exactly.
because they don't have the resources or the time or the energy, to still cope with some of the things that happens in this world, and that's crazy. It takes a lot to grow up, but if they're educated as they grow through these stages, they'll come out fine. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm just pointing out things that I know as a child. If I had, what I'm saying, I probably would have went a different way in my life. I'm here where I'm at now. God is good. There's nothing He's doing wrong. So that's why I feel like I need to, share my knowledge and little stuff that I learned with you guys, because it's getting crazy sometimes in this world, and it's just scary
Exactly.
at times.
And I agree. It is crazy outside. I knew that when I grew up, I want. It was okay in the house. It was a little chaotic at times when we were younger. A lot of dysfunction, but it was still okay. You know, I still look back and remember we had so many happy times in the house. And I knew that when I grew up, I wanted my house to be more peaceful than that. And now, as a mother, I realized that I want my son to grow up in a house that is more peaceful than what I wanted as a grown up. Like,
Okay.
he is, it's okay for him to be himself in here. If his self is me having to tell him, stop doing that, stop doing that, stop doing that every 2 seconds, for the day, then that's what he gonna do that day. If his self the next day is sitting down reading a book all day, then that's what he gonna do. But I want him to feel that when he come in these doors, he gonna be himself. If we send him to school and they gotta act put on, pretty much when you go outside, you got to put on a face. Everybody's doing it to an extent, depending on what you have to do, especially at school. When he's used to running around all day and he got to go to school and sit down all day, I need him to know that when he come home, he can leave all of that at the door. He don't bring that inside. But I feel like that's part of me as a parent. I had to distance myself because if I was sitting around here being his friend, my first priority would not be making sure he felt peace at home. I would be focused on myself. And I feel like a lot of parents end up doing that because they don't provide that peace for themselves. They can't provide it for their kids. They worry about finances. They worried about making sure all the kids got stuff. They worried about probably being pregnant again in a lot of cases. They worry about baby daddy, baby mama drama. They're worried about if they live with other people, probably that living situation. And the list goes on. And that's not even including the stuff that's going on outside in the world. So it just makes it hard for them to change things for their kids when they're being their kids' friends instead of carrying that weight. And it is heavy, but they should be carrying that weight and letting their kids be kids.
So what I've noticed is, right, if you're a little bit more prepared financially, emotionally, you can probably handle a lot more. So
Exactly.
this is why I decided that we need to talk about it, because check this out. Like I always say, if you get to know the people that you're sleeping with, right, you would have the chance to grow with this person, and the maturity between y'all two will be sent towards the children that you create. It's no problem
Exactly.
with that. But if you are dealing with people you barely know and having children with them, and the chaos that comes with that alone still gets to involve the children, any type of violence, any type of rigmarole, and anything y'all doing around there, these children are seeing this. And serial killers, people with
Right.
that road rage, people that are angry all the time. You have to think what made them so angry? What was so bad in their childhood that they could grow up to be so angry? I mean, I,
Exactly.
I mean, once in a while, I get a real road rage. I mean, I'm doing like 70 on the highway, and you want to turn in front of me and start doing 20. That might get me a little bit of rage, because at the speed that I'm traveling, the chance you took. But you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying with children, they're easily molded. Some of the things
Exactly.
that is my mom's instilled in me has it to a point where I don't have a problem working. Not at all. I don't have a problem working 2 and 3 jobs. That's something good instilled. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying? That I don't want to be dependent on nobody. And at times it can get rough. But if you have people that work just like that, you'll be fine. You understand? You'll be fine. I mean, what? You take care of your son, buy him every pair of sneakers he ever got, and he don't know how to get a job. So when he want the
Right.
latest fashion, he start robbing instead of working. I mean,
Exactly. And
what's
I
the
feel
motivation?
right. And of course, I'm a firm believer in if I'm rocking such and such, then my child needs to be rocking something close. Uh, I understand that children get things dirty, so okay, maybe mix and match it. But you can also teach your children not to be that messy. But anyway, um, I feel like that. Like I get annoyed seeing parents rocking the hottest everything, and their kids is not matching. I get annoyed like it's just like okay, I can see where your effort is going. One, two, when you do start buying your children these things for whatever is within your means, of course, um teach them that things change because god forbid you lose your job and you can't maintain that anymore. Now they out here wilding and upset, or like you said, trying to take it from other people because they thought that that's what they was going to have forever. Like the it still needs to be a lesson in these things, whether you can provide them everything or not. It still needs to come with a lesson. Don't just make them materialistic and think like Jamel throws tantrums sometimes when he wants something, and I'm like, I'm not buying it. But like it's like as long as we're still in the aisle, we get to the next aisle and he's like, all right, whatever. Or, you know, he's a little funky till we get out the store and then he's fine. That's understandable. I feel a way when I don't get my way all the time too, but it doesn't change anything. We still had a great time. He's not going to spend the next 3 days acting a fool, talking about that one thing he didn't get. Like he forgot it as soon as we got out the store.
Are you
But
pouting in front of him as well?
me, no.
Yeah, I mean,
But
no, you're not showing him no type of dissatisfaction or when you're upset about something, so that he could tell the difference. Like, how do kids figure this out?
oh, you mean I thought you meant when I don't get my way. No, I don't do that because I don't
When you
want that
don't
to
get your
be
way as well,
the.
you don't want, why you don't want that?
I don't want that to be the standard. Like some of the stuff that I do that about is very petty, and I don't want him to think that he should be doing that because I know I shouldn't be doing that. Like I'm gonna have an attitude because I want a Chick-fil-A and we gonna eat at home. Like nah, mac and stink. No, I don't want him to do that.
I mean,
But I do share my emotions with him because like you said, how do children um understand it, you know? Like he seen me crying for my uncle. Well, I didn't know he saw me. I actually went outside crying and my dad was outside. So I went to talk to my dad about it and he saw me. So when I came inside, he ran up to me crying, hugging me, and he's like, "Oh, when I see you crying, it makes me sad." And I'm like, "It's okay, you know, I feel better. I just was thinking about somebody that I really missed because he didn't handle it well when my grandfather passed. So I try not to talk about death too much because it's hard to explain to him. He still don't get it. It's been 2 years. Uh, so I'm like, you know, I thought about somebody that I missed a lot and it made me sad, but I'm okay now. Like I don't hide those things from him because he needs to know that people go through that.
I mean, some people have to deal with that more frequently. Like they have a
That is
lot of
true.
death in the areas that they live in. So that's a lot for another person, for parents, for a single mom to deal with as well, worrying about those type of issues as well. It's a lot
Hmm.
going on in this world. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, if we give out the information and you're not using it, then it's your fault. You know, we're getting firsthand sight into stuff that goes on with these television shows, even if they're, exploiting it a little bit or making it a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? We still get the
Exactly.
life lesson and all of that. Now, y'all not noticing, you know what I'm saying? Y'all not noticing just sleeping with these random dudes and y'all sleeping with these random girls and not caring about the relationships y'all having and creating these children. And then these children are getting left out because you didn't intend to have a kid with the person. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't where
Exactly.
you was at time and place. But the mature level, like the first 18 years of a person's life, should be straight up dedicated to educating himself in more ways
Mhm.
than one in different areas, so that they know how to handle all the life challenges. That's why,
Exactly.
like I said, we should be paying the teachers more money. Not to say that money is a reason to do better. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But the money in the comfort of them knowing that they're doing this to spread to our children is better, so they don't have to worry about pencils and papers and textbook or taking the time out to spend 5 more minutes with Lakeisha because she still don't understand the problem. You
Exactly.
understand what I'm saying? And not that she's not being disruptive, but because of, let's be honest, her parents really know each other. She got ADHD and a little bit of, what's that other one you get when you can't see numbers correctly?
Dyslexia.
Yeah, dyslexia. And you would have never known that because her mother, Markeisha, decided to sleep with old boy from down the block. She don't even remember his name. Got pregnant. What happened? You understand what I'm saying? We gotta
Right.
avoid that type of stuff now. So we're aware of that stuff. So we need to avoid that. That ain't cool.
Exactly. I agree. I think that, like you said, more time might need to be spent with the kids. When children say, I remember when we were younger and we don't understand something, they used to be like, "What's 2 plus 2? What's 2 plus 2?" And now they want to beat it out of us. But like maybe I don't understand that when Johnny has 2 apples and Cynthia has 2 apples, you put them together. No, how many apples do they have is the same as saying 2 plus 2. Like maybe you need to sit down and see what's confusing me about the problem because I might just every child does not have the same learning style. We all are different. Some people are hands-on. Some people are, you know, they need to like read it. Some people are a mixture. So you might need to learn your child's learning style. Um, I had that very hard lesson when we was homeschooling at the start of Corona. It was very stressful. We made it through, and then he asked after we got
Mhm.
it down pat. He asked to go to regular school, but but sometimes that's what it
Now,
takes. You just gotta. No, go ahead.
you was breaking up a little bit. I was like, can you?
Oh,
Oh, it's
sorry.
me. All right, I'm sorry. She said it is I that was breaking up, so I didn't
Oh,
miss I missed what you said, but they didn't. So that it's all right. Go ahead.
okay.
I'm
I
sorry.
was just saying, you got to learn your child's learning style. Like it takes time, and that's okay. Kids really, more than anything else, more than they need a friend, they need patience. They need some way to understand. Like people think that they have to teach their children what to think, and all you have to do is help them work through how to think.
Hmm.
I also feel like there needs to be a stigma. The stigma needs to be taken off of therapy or something
Hmm.
in that realm. It's okay. If you're not a failed parent, if your child needs therapy, really, life alone gives you PTSD, and we probably all should go in childhood so we can learn to be effective adults. It's easier. It's easier in childhood than in adulthood because they don't have to unlearn things. They are applying the skills and just using them in life. Whereas you wait till you're an adult and now you have to unpack all this stuff from your childhood and then put it back together.
I wanted to know, how do you feel about parents or single parents mostly having their oldest children being the ones that are babysitting the youngest children most of their lives?
I absolutely cannot stand that. I think it's
Mhm.
disgusting. Just like being a friend takes away their child's innocence, you're also taking away your child's innocence. That child is supposed to be outside. They're not supposed to be watching their little brother. That's what you're for. You lay down and have those kids, you should be watching them, excuse me. Because if that older child came home with a child, you looked at them like they was crazy, like they were a problem for having a child that young. But then here they are raising your younger kid. Like that makes no sense to me.
It makes no sense to me either. But a lot of those times is because these people had their children young
Hmm.
and right about the same age they're doing things. Also, a lot of people had because they're on drugs. And,
Oh,
and, and there's no choice for these children to raise, or they end up in the system. You're forcing these children to put themselves in a position like, hey, wow, should I now raise my brother and make sure my brothers and sisters are okay? Because I don't want the system to take them. Even though my
exactly.
parent is lousy. You know what I'm saying? But these are definite situations that occur.
Exactly.
But like I said, if we know that doesn't make the people turn out good. A lot of times, those children are very selfish in
Hmm.
nature because all their life they had to take care of other people. That finally, when they get the chance to be away from all of that, all they can think about is themselves. I don't
Exactly.
see nothing wrong with that,
Oh.
but you have to be able to express that in a relationship, right? So someone can understand you. It's
Hmm.
not like they don't need to be loved too, but you know what I'm saying? It needs to be expressed in a relationship so someone can understand you. That way,
Exactly.
y'all don't go different routes in a relationship when you get to that selfish nature. Explain why that it is. You know what I'm saying? Communication is a key. But if you don't communicate with your children, they cannot communicate with other people when they get older. And that's where communication start at is at home.
Exactly. And as far as the older children too, like, not just, of course, it affects them in adulthood, but it also affects the relationship that the children have with each other. Those kids don't generally like each other. Well, the younger one might like the older one, but that older one is not interested in the younger one because they're a burden to them now. They're not. It's not their choice to want to spend time with their siblings. They're forced to do it, and that sibling becomes a burden. I wanted to go outside and ride bikes with my friend, but I had to take my 5-year-old brother with me, and he can't ride a bike. He can't go that fast. He can't get in this. Like I got to stay home. It's a party tonight, but I can't go to the party because I have to watch my younger sibling. No, No, you that parent need to come home and watch their kid. Even if you at work, I'm sorry that sucks, but you need to find childcare or something. That older child should not have to lose out or miss out on life to raise the younger one. They did not have kids. That wasn't their choice.
But how much respect does the child have for their parent if the situation is any of those, like situations where they're forced, and parents on drugs, she just want to party all the time? What type of relationship, right? Does that happen with the mother? And even I guess dudes too have to watch their younger brothers or younger sisters as well, when they would prefer to be able to play the game and get their mind focused on the next thing in life to help out. But I'm just saying, like, that stress that you put on children,
Mm-hmm.
why would I have any respect for my mom? You know what I'm saying? If she's forcing me to do anything like this, and then where does the relationship between other adults come in for these kids? Because now
Exactly.
they have no respect for nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they don't have to have respect at home. So
Exactly. Right, because they're practically raising themselves. Like if it wasn't for the rent needs to be paid and food need to be put in, they doing it. They making it happen. And it's really sad. Like you said, there's probably a very strong lack of respect for adults, especially for their own parents. I feel like it was the same way when, in our generation. I don't think grandparents get down like that no more. But back in the day when the grandparents was really raising the kids, a lot of those kids grew up. They don't have respect for their parents no more either. Why should they? Their parents were not parents to them. They were older siblings who didn't want to be bothered with them.
and the grandparents was probably in the house complaining about their behavior the whole time. So this is where
Exactly.
they get this information from. It's not like they just
Exactly.
thought of it on their own. But and so calling their parents lousy and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
again, that's a reflection on the grandparents.
Exactly. That's so true.
So the work should be of working on that whole generational situation. Like I said, the knowledge, we have that. Let's use it in a positive manner, in a way that can not continue to have these type of cycles, not continue to have these guys being able to run through a bunch of women, getting them all pregnant, and choose if they decide to be in the children's life or not.
Exactly.
Hello, Jersey Finest. How you doing tonight? I mean,
Hey.
there's a
Exactly.
lot of signs. There's a lot of signs. I know a lot of women don't take the time, but they got these guys too that do it in relationships. They sneaky in the relationship. You understand what I'm saying? They
Mhm.
not they don't show you they wolf right away. You know what I'm saying? They still be that sheep. And a lot of women get caught up like that. I can understand that. That things like that happen. But I'm talking about people who deliberately go out their way to have children with people they don't have no clue who they are. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? You can avoid that. Take the time. It's okay. Sex is overrated. I'll say it a million times.
Okay. And it's gonna be true every time. And that also leads to another problem, right? With families,
Mhm.
favoritism.
In the
That's how it
family,
comes in families. Yeah, like in sometimes in the family unit where it's like the parent or the whatever parents or parent in the home, and there's multiple children that they have. Or sometimes they're on a wider scale, but just in the home, like sometimes that
Mhm.
happens when you have multiple baby daddies, and maybe one of them is acting right and the other one's not. That child might be a little bit more your favorite. Their father's easy to deal with, or you look just like your father, and your father's a problem to me. Like it happens. It's sad, but it happens.
Well, I don't know. I always thought, growing up my whole life, that my little sister was my mother's favorite. She really got the two of us, and I believe my sister believes that my mom, I was my mother's favorite. I guess it's just the way the relationship that your parent has with you. It would make the other one think that they're playing favoritism. I don't know,
Yeah, I
but
mean that happens too. But I'm gonna give you a straight up example, right? Because okay, so that part that you just said is completely true. It's all about which
mhm.
side of the fence you on. Sometimes it might look a different way. Y'all both might be her favorite, just for different reasons.
Of course, of course.
But for this is a situation, a perfect example of favoritism, right? I knew when I was in high school, maybe I just graduated high school, I can't remember. I was younger. I had a roommate and she had a boyfriend. Her boyfriend was he used to act out a lot. He was like maybe 16. He acted out a lot. His mother always had an issue with him. And it didn't make sense at first until I found out that his mother and his father broke up. The mother sent him to live with his grandmother. She went and married somebody else. When she got pregnant and had a daughter, when the daughter got a little bit older, she brought him back so he could help her take care of the younger child. Like, that is a clear case sign of favoritism. You never went back and got the boy. Now he about to be 18 and you need him to help you with your new child and your new family. They used to go on family vacations and he would have to stay home, but they would take the little girl.
That's bad
Right.
business.
And that's really sad because that happens.
I mean, you know, sometimes it's because of the children's behavior. You just
Yes,
can't
but
take some of
maybe
them
if she
kids
had
nowhere.
raised him, he might not have done that. The girl was only 5. He was 16. Where was she at for the other 11 years? That's why he was like that. It's not an excuse. It doesn't make it right. But she needed to hold herself accountable because she was clearly a case of favoritism, and it was disgusting that she even felt comfortable doing that.
I mean, you know, a lot of times when women have sons, and they tend to be the favorite.
Right? You would, yeah, but no, because that father was around, so of course the little girl was the favorite. His dad was there.
Blade say she gets far away from them ASAP.
Facts. You really should, because what? That's crazy. That was like absurd. I've seen cases where women, I don't know if maybe that child was just like a reminder of such a bad time in their life, or maybe they look too much like the father. But I've seen women like really just completely not connect with one of their kids. Like they'll have a child, and you know, I've seen fathers do this too. Not sure why the father is like that, but I don't know. Maybe, I guess I've seen fathers do this, like where they have sons, and they don't hug that child, or they just talk to them like they're two strangers. But with their girl, it's like, oh, come, and they give them hugs every day and they tell them they love them all the time, and it like those kids see that.
Well, what I'm saying is, you know, it's more understandable that men don't really know how to be men because a lot of the men don't have men in their lives growing them up, and a lot of them get their information from the men that are come around when they see their mother go through several men. They think I mean, it's not to be funny, it's to be honest, so that we can show these people that this is not a good behavior. But they stay, and then they participate in the same behavior. They start sleeping with a bunch of women because that's what their mother did. So they think everybody's just like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's supposed to be. There's no responsibility in that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, you know, people play a lot of favoritism because the child looks exactly like their baby daddy, and you know what I'm saying? They live and still vicariously through the eyes of their child. That's crazy, you know. But it's overwhelming a lot, and there's no manual that come with how to raise children. You just got to really wing it when it comes to that. But there are certain behaviors that are just the same in any child.
All right.
And one of the behaviors is a lot of times, like I told you when I spoke to the guy, that he was molested by one of his aunts, so it made him more hypersexual. But like you got to be careful about who you leave your children around as well.
Exactly. Sometimes it's other kids. People don't think about that either. I do not play that. Ain't no kids about to be in no room with the door closed. What y'all doing in there?
Well, you know how that goes because they have time to explore those type of behaviors because there's nobody watching them.
Exactly. I don't play that. Children do not watch themselves in front of me. I do not ask other children to watch the children in front of me. Like, my son has older siblings, 4 and 6 years older than him. And guess what? I don't care. Y'all not watching him. I'm home. Like, No, the only thing I might do is run to Target and come right back. Y'all there that does not happen. It'll be ridiculous. Y'all don't get to be kids in here. You can sit around and take 50 naps if you want to, eat snacks. When he hungry, okay, y'all can get him something to drink, but they don't have to make him food. Like I don't do none of that. I think that's absurd. I'm home. I'm in here. Or their father is here. Like, why would we do that? Or my dad is here. Like, there's a ton of adults in this house. Why would that be the case? That's not happening.
I mean, my mom was always there, so I didn't really have to worry about that. A lot of my behavior was because of my own destruction, that I didn't know how to communicate.
Right.
Because my mom wasn't really good with being communicative as well. So it's hard when your parent doesn't communicate to you as much as you want them to, and so you really don't learn how to communicate with them to express the things that you need. And that's a tough avenue because of there should be a lot of lines drawn between what you should even have a conversation about with your children.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can talk to them about sex, but position shouldn't be one of the conversations y'all be having.
Exactly.
And letting them know how the dude was last night, or you know what I'm saying, advocating for them to be in the strip club and being in the strip club with them.
All right.
You know, it's a lot of behavior. I mean, not only women's behavior is the one behavior that we should always be focused on, because but men's behavior is just as deplorable. You know, trying to figure out how many women you can sleep with at night, not using condoms, definitely may lead to having children. Your focus shouldn't even be about that, though. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't be a focus. Your focus should be trying to get where you at financially stable and put some type of mark down so that you have something to pass on to your children. And get to live a little bit of your life as well before you feel burdened by your children. You know, because that becomes a problem as well. And that's some of the reason why people are so abusive or not as attentive to their children, is because they feel burdened by them because they made a few mistakes in their lives.
Exactly.
And that's part of you. So you got to understand that. I know people try to keep you trucking, but be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. And that honesty will help you be more transparent with your children. It's crazy.
Right. And I feel like kids deserve that. And make sure your truth is age appropriate, of course, but tell them the truth. When Jamobi asks me stuff and I like hear people say like an answer back that's a lie, I'll be like, I don't lie to my son. And I'll tell him what it is. He might not like it, but I'm gonna tell him because I don't lie to him. I want him to keep it real with me. What would I look like lying to him? I don't even tell him like this was something that I don't like personally. Anybody can do whatever they want to, but I don't do that Santa, Tooth Fairy, because when I was little, I really believed in that. Like I was heartbroken when I found out that they didn't exist. I was like, I'm not doing that to my son. That was terrible to me. So we don't do that. He still likes it and I let him enjoy it, but I don't have him out here thinking that they real.
I mean, but where did they even get these concepts from?
Right. I don't know.
Easter bunnies and Santa Clauses and Peter Pan and all the other fairies. I mean, these are stories made up, created by who? Children who thought about these? I mean, stories? I don't know. But what is the significance in any of that? That doesn't help you deal with your mom working 12 hours a day just to put food on the table.
Exactly.
It doesn't give you the ability to understand that. That just gives you some wishful thinking.
Exactly.
And it's not helpful anymore. And we know that. So I don't advocate Christmas and stuff like that. I don't have kids, so I don't celebrate it. No need for me to be telling nobody none of that stuff.
And I agree with Blazing. It was to make money. That's it. Because why else would they encourage you? Like, they don't ever encourage you to do things that are positive with your life to make a profit, because then their profit will fall short. They encourage you to break your child's heart so you could buy him a Christmas present.
And they just come up with the next toy, the next video game, the next anything to get into your pocket. And like I said, I don't see anything wrong with rewarding children for good grades, great behavior, but that's some things that they should have anyway.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? The reward shouldn't be for those things. The rewards should be because they're just a great kid. And you felt like you could do something for a great kid. But this should be a standard. That should be a number one standard. Good grades, respect for your parents and elderly people around. You know, back in the days, you see an old lady with a heavy bag, you take it from her, and please, some of these kids run past her on their scooter and just push it down. You know, no respect. Some of the conversations they be having around people as well is a little raunchy, you know, and people get to overhear your conversations, and some of them don't be too cute.
Right.
Especially when you don't know what you're talking about. And it's just because they don't have no respect for themselves. And like my mother, like I said, I always go with my mom told me, you know, what I do outside in the street is a representation of her. Why do I want my mother to look like a bad representation of a parent? It's not her fault. You know what I'm saying? Some of the things I'm doing, I know better. And when you know better, you should always what? Do better, correct?
Exactly.
And that's what we're trying to do,
always
get
do
people
better.
to do better. You can always do better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, enough of that. What else you want to talk about? We can talk about anything else now.
I think that's all I had tonight.
Really?
Yeah,
A lot of
but
people-
look, it was perfect though. We did exactly.
An hour, correct?
Yes, that's it.
Well,
Because
we were sure
that one, oh, okay. Well, I got one more example of favoritism, right? Because this is the one that grinds my gears the most.
Mm-hmm.
I know that social media is not real. We discussed that in the previous episode, right? But when you post stuff on social media and it's your real life, then you need to pay attention. Because I will see people write paragraphs about one of their kids when it's their birthday and stuff like that. Put 80 pictures, all of that, right? And then when it's the next kid birthday, it's, oh, happy birthday, kid. I love you. Glad you're here. And like 3 pictures of them, and then 7 pictures of them with the other kid or other people. Like, yo,
I don't know.
come
Do you think that could be based on the kid's personality? Maybe one of those kids are more the type that like to show off, and the other one is a little more private.
I feel like that's possible, but when you're writing the paragraph, that also tells the difference. Because okay, they might not like to take a lot of pictures, but you didn't write as many words for them either. You wrote 3 things, and the other one got a paragraph. You're so loving. You're so great. You do all these amazing things. Your mama, your father, your daddy, your granny. Everybody is so happy to have you. Da da da. And for the next kid, is oh, we love you. Happy birthday. No, that says more about it than the pictures. Like, and
So
then
you
the
think
pictures don't
they
even
should just copy and paste them, right?
Right. One
Change
of
the
the
name.
pictures, exactly. One of the pictures be looking like the kid is it's the kid in extracurricular activities, it's the kid at school, it's the kid at home, it's the kid in their favorite pajamas, it's the kid with their favorite food. It's all of these things that showcase that first child's personality, and then when it's the next child's birthday, it's a picture of them in the background at the other kid's birthday. It's you know, like come on,
That's
come
bad.
on. That's saying
I mean,
something.
that is saying something that it's hard to balance children, huh?
It is. That's why I only have one.
Imagine 6 and 7.
Right, like I feel for them because I'm in fear. I live in fear of that every day. Like he keeps asking for a sibling, and I'm like, damn, I don't know. It was me and him for so long, and we bonded. Like that's my little buddy. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I could love another child, but I always think about that. Like that's scary a little bit. Like, what if I can't give them both the same amount of attention? What if I, it's discouraging. I don't even.
If you don't like the other one's personality, so you're gonna treat them as such. Is that what that means as well?
No, it just means I don't have to worry about splitting it up because it's only him. So now I have to be like, what if I spend too much time with the baby and not with Jamel? What if I spend too much time with Jamel and not with, like, and I love him so much. It just always be like, what if I don't love the next baby?
That's crazy. You don't love the next baby just as that, or you overlove
I'm
the
sure
next.
that's not true, right? It's just, I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's not too tough if you wait a decent amount of time between children.
That's true.
Like if you've already at least invested 16 years of your life loving one kid, and then you have another one.
I'm not starting 16 years and then having to lose sleep again.
Well, you never know.
I already
so
said.
You think it'd be better just to have your children back to back, smack them all back to back,
No, I
So
think that's
every year you just going through terrible twos. Every year, terrible twos. That can make you great and old before you can even you hit like 40, looking like you 85. Messing with them terrible
exactly.
two kids is bad at two. They don't care what they repeat. They putting sentences together based on the stuff you said, and they don't even know what they're saying, but they got a lot to talk about. They're
Oh,
violent. They're angry. They're throwing things. They
right.
just learning their name. They just learn how to use the bathroom. At
Okay.
two, it's the toughest children's behavior, I believe, because
It don't
people have a
even.
nickname for it.
That's what they say, but that thing could be terrible fours, fives. It ain't no telling. It don't. You don't know when to start. You don't know when to stop. That's the word. He was
But
fine at
do
two.
y'all understand?
Then at 3 years
How do you
old,
recognize that the children gonna be like that?
exactly. Jamel was fine at 2. And then at 3 years old, we walking through the mall, and he's stiff as a board, screaming his head off. I'm like, this is what?
Mm,
I thought we were
mm.
good. I
I
thought
mean,
we were
I'm not
good.
even talking about I'm talking about like the stuff they do just at home. When they
Right.
tired of playing with the toy, they just throw it at you.
Mm.
Bust you upside your head. Hey, you talking to somebody, kikiing, hey, girlfriend, yeah, girl, and then they repeat the same sentence you did, referring to something else, nothing to do. I mean, I just think it's cute, but I mean, we have to put emphasis on it's cute. But how do you manage that, dealing with that every year? Another kid, another personality turning 2, 3, 4. Just I don't see. I
See,
don't see it.
that's another thing too, because Jamel was easy. I slept through the night from the beginning. He did. He
Mhm.
was so. He used to clean up at one, clean up his own toys. Like, I have no
So
complaints. I don't know if the next baby gonna be that easy.
I mean, I'm saying, so what is the decent age between children so that you don't feel like you're bottled down and be impressed with these terrible tools too many times in repetition? What's a
I have
good
no
age?
idea. It's already 6 years, and I'm still scared.
Mm-hmm.
Still scared it's too close. So I don't know. My friend,
Well,
I think they're 5 years apart. She said she feels like that was a good age. So maybe 5 years. Enough for the older child to have all their own personal memories and, have lived a little
mm-hmm.
bit before you bring another one. Yeah, I think that would be good. And he's very
Yeah,
helpful. He loves his little brother, so it
I think
works.
about 5 is when kids don't really want to be bothered too much with their parents anyway. You know what I'm saying? They
Exactly.
ready to explore Fortnite. I'm sorry. But I'm telling you, Fortnite hit big in the industry. But anyway, but I believe
Exactly.
like 5 years old is where they would want the opportunity to be a little bit more independent in the household and be
Mm,
able to do, should be picking up a book and reading.
exactly.
Oh, Jersey's finest and hers is 11 years apart.
Ooh.
Whoa. I think that's pretty decent timing as well.
Mm-hmm. I
Because
do.
look how long one had the other. They had each other for 11 years, and then they both got somebody new to talk to and play with, huh? On a different type of level. Honestly, that's pretty good, I say. But anywhere
Exactly.
between 5 and up years is a decent time.
I agree. I mean, and I feel like that's a good time to start any new relationship, right? Like, I feel like that's the same time for a real relationship too. Like, see, and you need to take that time to get to know the people in your life. It doesn't matter what y'all got going on, um, as long as you're taking the time to get to know each other. When you meet someone, 5 years is a good time to get to know them. So yeah, it might be good to let you get to know your kids for 5 years
What does
too.
that mean? Mm-hmm. 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 And you
Oh,
can tell what type of kid are you and how helpful they will be with the other children, right?
exactly,
The child, you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
But Blazing says, what do you think is an age appropriate talk to kids about sex? Ooh,
Ooh.
that's a good one. What do you think?
Nowadays, I would say 12. When I was younger, though, my mom had that talk with me at 12, and I was so confused. I think that was too early.
Mm,
Um, I really want to say like 16, but kids move so fast nowadays, and everything is in your face, in your face, in your face. That you might have to start introducing stuff as early as 12, at least like the start of high school, maybe
The start of high school.
at the latest,
I,
if not 12.
I,
12 is junior
I,
high, but you said what?
I think you should judge it. Think you should judge it based on the developmentation of your child.
Oh, well,
Because,
that's
like I said, some of these children look a lot older, a lot younger, and their body develops a lot quicker than the other one. So if your kid is like in the 9th grade or something and she still ain't got no titties, I don't think you should be talking to her too much about sex.
you're a
Right. But I'm just saying that she ain't got nothing for the boys to hound her for yet. So, she can wait a little bit on the conversation. But if you got a 7-year-old, got a big booty and some chest on her already because of, whatever those genes bring, it should be talking to a conversation about that, because once your body is a little bit mature, I believe you have more mature feelings. So that's just the
or at
reason.
least more people trying to have mature interactions with you, whether
Exactly.
you were ready or not.
Exactly.
I do also want to say that my answer, or I believe both of our answers, is based on like adult version of sex. I do feel like if you're going to talk to your children, inappropriate touches should have been talked about at a much younger age. So that's not being included in this part of the conversation, because I had that conversation with Jamel at like 2 and 3 years old. Like, nobody is supposed to touch your penis, because we use real names in here, and stuff like that. Like, no children, no other adults, or this is the list of people who should be touching you, and this is why they would be touching you. If it's for anything else, then you tell somebody. We had that conversation much earlier, because that is a thing in the world.
Well, at what age do you think it's appropriate to start touching your children's genitalia?
To start?
Start. What are you supposed to start doing?
Oh, I was about to say,
as a baby, when you
birth.
Oh, come on.
Right.
I ain't sick crazy. No, I'm saying, but what time is it? What age is it when you start showing them that this is what they're supposed to be doing for themselves?
So the transition came with potty training. Once I stopped, once I felt like he could wipe himself properly, I still bathe him occasionally, but we're also right now working on I stopped wiping him and stuff, because I'm like, okay, I don't need to touch you as much because you can take care of yourself in the bathroom. And then now we're working on him bathing himself, because children are young, they're rushing, they want to go back and play, they're not really paying attention, they don't clean themselves as good, so you have to clean them for a little bit longer. But now it's like supervised bath time, so I just make sure that he's cleaning himself properly. And if I see him miss a spot, I help him, or I encourage him to do it again, so that we can completely transition out of somebody having to touch him, because he's 6, about to be 7. Like, you don't need people all in your personal space anymore.
Right, but you are supposed to tell these kids, that their parents, it's right for their parents to doing it, as long as it doesn't feel inappropriate to them as well. But the reason why you're doing it, and encourage them to do it themselves. Like, I don't have any kids, but I think that, like I said, certain things I don't think is cool when it comes to children. Just like fathers allowing daughters to sit on their laps after a certain age, I just think it's a little, iffy for me, because that part of their body is more exterior than interior, so, and it reacts off of feelings. So that is definitely a scary thing for me as well. I mean, one of the biggest thing is, what about parents who put their children against each other, competitively and otherwise?
And I feel like, that kind of goes hand in hand with the favoritism. Sometimes it's not favoritism. Sometimes it's just they have terrible parenting skills, and they use guilt trips and other manipulative tactics that force their kids to be pitted against each other. I feel like a lot of people don't even realize that they do that. So they may be pitting their kids against each other and don't think that they're doing that. It's sad. And that's why therapy will be helpful, because if they were visiting a therapist, adult and children, they would know that that's not how you deal with each other. I feel like a lot of the older Black community, um, I don't know if it's because they had to do so many mature things as an adult, but there's a lot of jealousy rooted that's passed from one generation being jealous of the generation after them, and so on and so forth. Usually because I feel like it's because they didn't have a childhood. They had to take care of their brothers and sisters. They had children very young, and they had to mind their own kids and stuff like that. So it's just, there wasn't a lot of education. Also, there's so much going on in the world. Education wasn't a priority, especially for women. So I just feel like that plays a part in it, and it's really sad that that's something that people are still doing.
So you don't think it's like the end game? They figured it out early which one of them would be the one child that would make sure or check on them for the rest of their life so they don't be alone. So they play favorites so that they know that they'll be there for
that
the
might
rest
be
of
part
their
of the
life.
goal. That might be part of the
It,
goal.
it
But
should
if
be.
both
It should
them
be
kids
for all
wise
your
up, they won't
children,
be
right?
alone. Right. That's crazy.
Because once in the end, once you get older, you do look forward to your children come and look for you. You don't, there's a lot of older people who now children won't even come help them out. Just let them, do it on their own. And a lot of it is because some of the things that they went through in their childhood, they don't feel like they will want to come back and deal with some of the stuff that their parents do. A lot of parents are very judgmental because they didn't go the route that they went. And so that opinion gets pretty strong when they handle it. It sets a separation between the two. And yeah, so you would definitely want to play favoritism to one so that you would hopefully out of the 3 or 4, you get one kid that'll check on you every day, huh?
You're so
Raise
annoying.
it old. What? Isn't it true?
I agree with what Blazing said. The older generation really needs mental health, and that is a fact. When Jamal was younger, I used to have people asking me like, "Oh, what you want him to be when you grow up?" And like you said, they're very judgmental, usually because they didn't get the choice to choose the path they wanted in life. And I'd be like, "I want him to be happy," and they're like, "You don't want him to be a doctor?" And I'm like, "If he don't want to be a doctor, no." I'm like, I want him to do whatever he wants to do that makes him happy. That's it. If he think he needs to spend a couple years being a starving artist, I don't want him to do that. But if that's genuinely will make him happy and feel like he found his purpose in life, I'm cool with it. Like, I'm not forcing him to do nothing. He don't need to just be out here trying to make money. He needs to do something that leads him to a healthier life. And I feel like that starts with happiness.
I mean, you know that when you have children, they have different personalities, and good parents, tend to recognize the difference in personalities in their kids, and I guess, they kind of lean towards what's needed at the time with their children, but they also know how to, a good parent would know how to balance that, so they both feel just as important as the other. I'm just saying, with my mom, I guess we definitely make sure she's all right. We both take our turns, so it's okay. It's okay to take care of them. A lot, like I said, a lot of rewards in life don't have to come from other people. They will definitely come from God, because karma is definitely good. And they can be good and be bad karma. So you should always try to stay on the positive side of karma, so that you can get good stuff to come back to you. Any final thoughts?
My final thoughts are to take the time to get to know your kids, know your children. Don't show favoritism. Like, I don't think it's fair to have your children, one child in activities, and your other child just has to sit at home or ride with that other child's activities. Learn both your kids and find a common ground. Find a place that has activities for both of them or something, so that you might know you love them both, but it's not giving love to both.
Not giving love to both.
It's not giving what it's supposed to give.
It's not giving what it's supposed to give. I hear that. My final thoughts is like I always say, no children comes with a manual. However, if you take the time to know some of these people that you're getting involved in relationships with and having these children with, you can understand that 50% of him and 50% of her makes 100% of your kids. And what you give is what you get. So people take a lot more time thinking about who you're having children with, you know, how much time you need in your life to do the things that you would like to do before you have children. So that way you can have the most healthy and nourished children there are, because they have both their parents. Y'all not struggling. Y'all had already gotten a lot of some of the stuff that y'all wanted to do in life that you couldn't do if you had children. So just take a little moment to think about that and see if we can accomplish a lot more. Well,
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all are the best.
yes, very much so. But please, I gotta tell you guys, when you on your way out and when you're on your way in, hit the like button. And like I said, I love this saying, man. The reason why I'm not famous is because y'all not sharing my videos. Good night.
Good night.